Welcome back to the channel. Today I am out and about for some bird photography. I'm hoping you can pick up my sound. It is windy out here. As you can see, the sun is out, which is a really nice surprise. It's been raining for a while, for 10 days, 12 days straight. Not a lot of sun, which is, again, normal for this time of year, but you try to take every opportunity you can to come out for some photos as soon as the sun peeks out, if the timing works, which it did for me today. It is really, really windy. So I'm hoping the sound is being picked up by the mic. I'm out here for bird photography, so I'm at one of my favorite spots. I've come to this area a lot over the past 10 years, but I actually found this specific spot just last year, and it's just quieter than a lot of other places. Not too many spots for bird photography in this area, so all the bird photographers all go to the same areas, and so it gets busy. This still seems to be sort of undiscovered, which is awesome, and so I'm out trying to take photos of birds. We usually get short-eared owls, hawks, eagles, and lots of migratory ducks and other birds here, so I'm gonna stick around probably till sunset. Got about 4-ish hours, and I'm just gonna walk along. It's quite a long walk. I would say it's like 3-4 kilometers, 5 kilometers along the dike here. So I'm just gonna walk around, find my spots, and see if I spot any birds. It should be quieter to start, and then going from there. But pulling in, I already saw a hawk hunting, and it was really close actually to the car. So I'll put the photo at the end of this, but I am curious to see what the behavior is going to be like for the birds, just because the wind is quite high. And so if they're flying against the wind, they should be hovering more. And so that may give me more opportunities to take photos. But also the water levels are really high just because of all the rain. And so the birds should be closer to me, technically closer to the dike. So hoping for some good photos, good conditions, but we'll see. So let's go see what happens. Right as you enter this dike area, there is an eagle's nest pretty close to the front, and it seems to be an active eagle's nest. As far as I've seen, there's 1 or 2 eagles that are always hovering around, and they're both there. And so I'm going to hang out for a little bit and see if they do anything. There's lots of ducks behind me here, and the eagle's nest is facing them directly. It's in that tree behind me there. And I've seen one of those eagles actually hunt the ducks here before, and it's pretty windy and the eagles are kind of looking, so I'm just gonna hang out for a bit and watch and see what happens. And if I take any photos of them flying or hunting, I'll put it right after this. So I've just left the eagle's nest area. Pretty cool, actually. I think I caught them in some nest building or reinforcement action, which is nice. No hunting, but I'm gonna walk all the way to the other side of the dike now and see if there are any owls or hawks and any activity. The water is really high, so I'm not sure if I can actually go into the areas I usually go into. But that was pretty cool. I think I have a nice photo of the eagle flying with a stick. It broke off a branch from the tree, and because the wind is so strong, it flew away from the nest. So I think I got a couple of nice pictures of it struggling with the nest or with the stick. Now it's time to keep walking and see what I can find. Hoping you can hear all this. It's really windy today. As you can imagine, no tripod today. Just too windy, too gusty. So I'm just hand holding the camera and the 180 to 600 millimeter Z mount lens that I use for birding and for moon and that kind of stuff. It's a pretty light lens, which makes things easier compared to some of the older, bigger lenses. But still, it would have been nice to have the tripod with me just because I like to film on the Z8 too. Really good quality video comes out of it. But it's just too gusty and windy. No way to leave the tripod behind. And there's enough light that I don't need the ISO bumped up too much. So I'm just going to hand hold it today. These barns and sort of farmhouses are all on the way as you're walking on the dike here. And I just always think there's probably owls in here somewhere. I don't know. It just looks like a kind of barn, especially this one. Kind of barn that has an owl. But I've never seen one here, at least in the barns. Maybe I have to be here after dark. So this is actually why I like this area a lot. There's actually a section where you can walk into the dike or the trail, and it just kind of follows along the water, but you are away from wind, you're hidden a bit from the birds, and you can kind of quietly do your thing. And you are actually allowed in the dikes here. They allow hunters in to hunt ducks, and I spoke to some of the officers here, the parks officers, and they said you are allowed as long as you don't harass the wildlife, which is obviously not something I do. So I really do like this area. So I've come out of the front now. I'm walking into the trail here, and I'm just going to slowly make my way along and see what I can see today. One of the learning curves of picking up bird and wildlife photography after landscape was to just understand the different rhythms of shooting wildlife versus landscapes. Because for landscapes, you just show up, obviously you look at the weather conditions and, you know, cloud, rain, sunset, sunrise, all that. But then you pick a subject, forest, you know, lake and mountain reflections, and you make a decision on that, and a lot of times you just are there and the subject isn't moving. It's just the light that changes. Where with wildlife, you're at the mercy of the wildlife. And so you have to understand the rhythms and the flight patterns, the hunting patterns, time of day. And even if you consider all of that, you might still have a dud. So it's a very different game, and that's been a big learning curve to try to understand. The other piece is patience, and you know, I'm a generally impatient person. When I go out to shoot, I usually take a lot of photos. I move around a lot, but again, with wildlife, you can do that, and maybe you'll get lucky and you get different birds in different locations. But you almost have to be in one spot, slow down, and understand again the rhythm and the behavior of the birds, for example, here today. And just because I'm in the spot now and nothing's happening doesn't mean in 20 minutes or half an hour the birds won't fly this way. So that's another piece that's been a learning curve. Having said all that, today's looking a little bit like a dud. The start was nice with the eagles and the light, but I haven't seen much activity coming out this way. So let's see. I'll hang around, I'll walk a bit more, but it might turn out to be a dud today. You never know. Another thing that's been kind of helpful for me to pick up with wildlife and learn is to sort of appreciate the details as I'm waiting for the wildlife. So looking at wreaths in the wind here, or how, you know, even if it's mid-daylight right now and it's harsh, how it hits some of the wreaths, some of the flowers, and just try to focus on those. Again, I have a 180 to 600 here today, so I can try and see what I can capture with that. But lots of opportunities, even if you don't get that grand landscape or the owl or hawk or whatever you're looking for flying through. There's still lots to see with details, and that's what I've appreciated about the 600. It really has opened my eyes to details and just kind of opened up a whole different world. There's beautiful light happening with the moody, dramatic blues behind me. Probably rain coming, but it's all good. I have a rain jacket on. And so I decided to walk into the dike from one of the paths that I know here, and heard the call of I think it's a red-tailed hawk. And so I just, because I'm a bit more blended in and in the middle, it kind of just hovered around, and as I suspected with the wind, it hovered longer. So I got some really nice shots of the hawk as it was kind of going through this beautiful, beautiful color. It's been a pretty interesting day out, different than I thought. There was good light happening, actually, lots of clouds coming through, and so there's shadows and light. Windy, still very, very windy, but I think I've gotten some really nice photos of the hawks and some swans and some eagles. No owls. I would love to see some short-eared owls here. I've gotten my best photos of them probably in this dike here. But one of the things I was just able to do when I was inside was to capture, as the light was changing, there was 3 or 4 hawks that kind of start flying around each other. The hunters are out, and so the hawks are trying to get away from them, but also eat for food. And so it was a couple of really nice photos, and I keep hearing the hawks sort of calling inside. Okay, that wasn't fun. The conditions turned real quick. It went from, oh, it's nice and windy, to, oh, it's really windy. I lost my hat 3 times. Each time it got stuck to a branch, so I was lucky I didn't lose it in the water. The birds all disappeared. Too strong. So I think I may just call it at this point. I have an hour drive back home. I may hover a tiny bit around just to see if the wind quiets down, but I was looking at it, looks like the gusts are about 70-80 kilometers an hour, maybe a little bit more, so it's proper windy. Not great for photos, not much happening. So if this is the end, I will put links to the website, Instagram, everything at the bottom of the screen, in the description, and I will see you in the next video.